Hello, I'm Paige and welcome back to my channel. Today I am making French macarons and I was thinking of doing something inspired by Sleeping Beauty. I've always really loved the fight between a couple of the fairies where they're always changing her dress from pink to blue. That's always just been really entertaining. So I'm going to make the macarons half pink and half blue, and I'm going to put a raspberry filling in the middle. So we're going to start by sifting flour and powdered sugar. And again, the sifting is really important because we want to make sure that we get a lot of the big chunks out. We only want the absolute finest parts. We don't want big chunks. By the way, this is also almond flour. That is typically the flour that is used when making macarons, but it is kind of clumpier than all-purpose flour, which is why sifting is so important. And I'll show you when I'm done this real quick. So these are all of the clumps that are left that are just actually really big. So I'm just going to dump those out. But this is the difference. This is how fine the rest of the flour is once it's sifted. So we're going to do the same thing for the powdered sugar. Powdered sugar isn't as grainy as almond flour, but it's still really important because you want, with macarons, you really want that smooth surface. You don't want any lumps, so it's really, really important to sift the flour and the sugar. So as you see, there's not as many big clumps in the sugar as there were in the flour, but still enough that sifting is really important. Okay, so we're going to put this bowl of sugar. So now I have my stand mixer and we're just going to continue. We have the sifted ingredients right here. Those are just going to kind of wait until we're ready because we're not ready yet. So now we need egg whites. So I'm just going to actually reuse this bowl for the yolks because we don't want the yolks. Okay, so we want everything. So we want 4 egg yolk. No. We want 4 egg whites. So we'll just put the yolks and the shell in there for now. We'll just throw that out later. I'm going to whisk on high heat until the egg whites are foamy. Okay, now that I have foam, I'm going to add a little bit of cream of tartar. I don't know why I said it like that. And just a pinch of salt. A pinch. And now we add more sugar. So this is only 1/3 of a cup more sugar. Earlier we had 2.5 cups of powdered sugar. This is just regular granulated sugar. This is only 1/3 of a cup. But overall still kind of just a lot of sugar. And this isn't even the filling. We're not even there yet. And now we're going to beat this until it forms stiff peaks. So that's a stiff peak. Okay. So now, I realized I wanted to do 2 different colors for these, but making half one color and half another color is going to be a lot harder because we really don't want to overmix. So I think what I'm going to do is, because the raspberry filling is going to be red tasting and looking, I'm gonna make these all blue, and then the red will be in the middle. We're going to very, very, very gently fold the sifted ingredients into our stiffed peaks. After we add a little bit of food coloring. We need to add the food coloring first. Pour this in, and then kind of fold it into each other, being very careful not to overmix. So we don't want our stiff peaks to, I'll show you the stiff peaks, don't find the drops of food coloring, but we don't want the stiff peaks to like deflate. So we're just going to very, very carefully So now I need to prepare my baking sheet that I did not prepare earlier. So this is definitely where I'm going to mess up because I cannot for the life of me measure things out evenly, and they all have to be like approximately like 1-inch circles, and I feel like all of mine are just going to be different sizes. Consistent circles. I feel like that's so much bigger than it should be. Okay. I haven't had one of these in like the longest time, so I'm like forgetting like how big they are, or how big they should be, or like how small they should be. So I actually have no idea if this is like a good size, or if it's like way too big. I feel like mine are way too big. I also feel like, as I said, they're very inconsistent. One of the most important things about making these is that before they go in the oven, or like, so you have to like set them out to rest a little bit. But before they set out to rest, you have to like bang the trays. I probably shouldn't do this when people are sleeping. It's like 7:30 in the morning. Alright, so now I've hit the air out of all of the cookies, and now they have to rest for about half an hour and up to like maybe an hour, depending on how hard they kind of get that little like crusty surface instead of just looking like batter. It's going to be a little bit more dry. Then we're going to put them in the oven. So we're back, and the macarons have just come out of the oven, so while they cool, we're going to make the filling. So to do that, I'm going to start by heating some heavy cream, just enough that it's hot. We don't want it to be like boiling. Hot enough to melt some white chocolate chips. So then what I have here is just a little bit of raspberry extract, just to give it like a little bit of flavor, and also some pink coloring for the pink dress. We have the blue macarons and pink filling, so it's going to be both parts of her dress, or both colors. So now we just have to wait for this to heat, and then we'll melt the chocolate from the heat of the heavy cream. And then we're going to get a piping bag and put the cookies together. It's not hot yet. So now we're just going to pour this. So now we're just going to let this sit for a minute. Just all of the chocolate chips are covered in the cream. Just going to let it sit just for a minute to try to melt some of the chocolate chips just a little bit. Then we're going to add the food coloring, raspberry extract, and then comes the whipping again. So I think this should be good enough. So I'm going to add the extract and just like 2 drops, or 3 apparently. And then we're just going to whisk this together. It has a very beautiful pink color. You can smell the raspberries, which is amazing. But first, I need to get the cookies prepared. So, for my first time making macarons, I think that they came out pretty decently. Um, I'll show you, this is what they look like. The colors, I think it came out perfect. You can really see the pink for the pink dress and the blue for the blue dress. I mean, for my first time making them, I think I'm very proud of how they turned out. They're already half eaten, so I think my family also enjoyed them. My sister and I are the only ones in my family that have ever had real macarons before, so like they didn't have anything to compare it to, which was kind of nice because they didn't really taste exactly the same, but close enough that you could definitely tell that it was supposed to be a macaron, which I think are very delicious. So there you go. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up or subscribe or whatever. And come back every Monday for more baking videos.